Welcome, Colts fans, to a very exciting episode of The Brew today. I've got Luke Robbins with me. Luke is obviously one of our hosts for the show, but this is extremely exciting because, if I'm not mistaken, this is our first video episode in which we have recorded and will end up posting. But it's also a very special episode because it's not exactly Colts themed, it's Super Bowl themed. For you Super Bowl junkies out there, we've got a pretty exciting episode. Luke here prides himself on his knowledge of almost everything Super Bowl. He has assured me that he would be surprised if I asked him the score or the team or the MVP and he wasn't able to tell me who it was. So I thought, you know what? What better than to do an episode where I throw Super Bowl trivia, specifically regarding the score, the teams involved, and the MVP, and I'll ask 30 or so questions. And depending on how many Luke gets right, we will prompt a giveaway for one of the items that Rondo teased on our mini series that we've done. But before we get into all that, Luke, how are you doing today? It's Labor Day. It's a holiday in which a lot of people like to grill, drink, relax. So how are you spending your day today?
I mowed the lawn this morning, and since then I've just been kind of hanging out. I'm not much of a griller, not much of a cook myself, so I'm just hanging out. Had a sandwich, and that's it. What about you, man?
You know, the wife and I have been going through a bit of a Marvel binge recently, so we started watching all of the Marvel movies chronologically, and we actually finished Endgame today. So
Okay,
next on the radar is the Spider-Man Far From Home. But other than that, man, we're just relaxing with the kiddo and might
yeah.
do some grilling out tonight. One of the things I miss most about being in Indiana, for those of you that don't know, I'm currently in South Carolina. I've moved a few months ago as my grandparents brought us down some Indiana sweet corn. So I'm ready to
There you
dive into
go.
that.
Here you go.
But yeah, man, I'm super excited. When I first found out that you were like someone who knew these things, it almost blew my mind because I can't imagine that level of memorization. Like I hated Spanish because that's pretty much all it is just repetition and learning, and it's the reason that I failed Spanish the first time. So for you as someone who has learned these things and someone who is still continuing to learn even more about the Super Bowl, how is it that you became so knowledgeable in this topic?
Well, first things first. I'm with you. I failed Spanish on multiple levels, so it's
Not about
not
the
that I
only
can
one.
just remember everything. But from an early age, I just thought the Super Bowl was the greatest event in the world. It's not like basketball or hockey or anything where there's series. It's one game, 60 minutes, one shot, and you're the champion. I was just enthralled with it. So I had this little DVD that I got from my parents, and it was like highlights from Super Bowls 1 through 40, and I watched that thing over and over and over again. And I have an updated version now that I'll watch every now and then just for fun. But I just found it so interesting, and I think it's a lot easier to learn about something when you like want to know more about it. And so eventually, I started realizing, oh, I know all the scores to these games. Just like if I think about if you pick a Super Bowl, I know the score, and so I started working on it more and more. Get the MVPs in there, get the teams. I'm still working on like stadiums, so I'm pretty iffy on where the stadiums are at, but give me a couple. I should have those taken care of too.
Well, that explains Spanish then, because I definitely was in no hurry at the age of 17 to learn Spanish. But
Yeah.
that's super exciting. So yeah, obviously the plan here is to do a show where I'm going to throw roughly 30 questions at Luke. Obviously, if this is all a fluke, then when he misses the first 10, we'll just cut it off and no. But yeah, we're going to throw about 30 questions at him.
Let's do it.
A variety of questions. It'll either be score, teams, or MVP. And in those 30 questions, we're going to go ahead and say that with the confidence he is exuding, I will say that if he is able to get 28 out of 30 of these questions, we are going to prompt a giveaway for a very special item that is courtesy of Rondo, one of our other hosts. So thank you, Rondo, for that. So I told Luke I was trying to figure out how I wanted to do this episode. How could we do it so that we weren't critiqued about, well, maybe he's cheating, maybe the answers are being filtered to him. So what I thought is we're gonna do a video episode of this particular topic, and Luke has informed me that he has something that he intends to use as a blindfold, and he's going to put that blindfold on here in a minute, and we're going to ask him questions. Now, obviously, I can't promise you that he's not being fed answers through those headphones, but Luke and I are the only ones involved in this episode, so you're going to have to trust us to some extent. But he will not be able to see. You will be able to see through the video. He will not be able to see. And we're just going to ask him some questions, and I'm going to keep track on my mobile device of how many he's gotten correct. And once we hit our magic number, we're going to ask him all 30 regardless, because 30 for 30 is just, I mean, I don't even know.
Can't beat it.
I don't even know. I could get one. I could get one Super Bowl that I know for sure. And obviously that was 41, I believe. So
yeah, don't ask me about 41.
Yeah, no, not the dreaded 41.
About 41.
But yeah, so with that in mind, Luke, if you would be so kind as to apply the blindfold.
All right.
I have got, on my end, I've got all of the winners of the Super Bowls. I've got the number of Super Bowl that it was, and obviously both teams that were involved. And then additionally, I have MVPs as well, because if I didn't mention, Luke has assured me that MVPs is something he's extremely confident about as well. So while I get my handy dandy notepad out here, we are going to get this bad boy rolling. So 30 questions. This is question 1. Luke, let's see here. Super Bowl 20. Who was the MVP of Super Bowl 20?
Phil Simms.
That's incorrect, Luke.
What? Oh, that's 21.
Okay, if
right off the bat, gets one wrong.
I will. You.
Oh, that's terrible.
No, you pointed out to me that it was 21, so I'm going to give you one more chance. It's your first one. If you ever played Gauntlet on Madden, if you lose on the first level, they don't count it. So I'm going to give you a chance. Super Bowl 20, who was the MVP?
So that would be the Bears beating the Patriots in '85. So that should be Richard Dent.
Atta boy. He stumbles
Okay.
at first, but he comes back and he does it. So, boy, you had me nervous there for a second, man. Oh boy. Okay, so we're back. We're here. Okay. So we're gonna switch it over now.
Okay.
Well, what was that?
I said we're okay. We stumbled. It's all right.
We're good. We're ready. All right. So, boy, let me see here. Super Bowl 15. I'll give you January 25th, 1981. Who were the teams involved in Super Bowl 15?
Super Bowl 15 was the Raiders over the Eagles.
Boy, that is correct. He is good. Anyone who has any doubts that I am being truthful, you can go fact check this yourself later. But I'm already thoroughly impressed just with the first two. Okay, fair enough. So we're gonna go. Oh boy, God, which one? I'm like a kid in a candy store. Which one do I want to grill him on? Okay, we'll go a little bit more recent here. Not too recent though. Super Bowl 30. Who was the winner of Super Bowl 30?
That would be the Dallas Cowboys.
He gets another one right. Currently 3 correct. Has not missed one yet. Let me see here. We'll go back to MVPs for a moment. And we'll say Super Bowl 32. Who was the MVP of Super Bowl 32?
Terrell Davis.
All right, again. Excellent. That
was one of the greatest Super Bowl performances of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was incredibly impressive. Obviously, like looking at the stat line here, Um, Terrell Davis ran 30 times for 157 yards and 3 touchdowns to capture that title. So incredibly impressive on
Yeah.
his part. Super Bowl 19. Who was the MVP of Super Bowl 19?
Super Bowl 19. So that would have been Super Bowl in 84. So that would be the 49ers. Oh, this one was ugly. 55-10 over the Broncos. Did you ask the MVP?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, Joe Montana.
Okay, I'm still impressed with everything with everything that you just gave me. All right, so first five out of the way. You are currently 5 for 5, my friend. Let's see here. We keep this going. Okay, so we didn't give anything away. I just told you about Super Bowl 41. Now, obviously, everybody who would be a part of our normal fan base should know what Super Bowl 41 was all about. But I'm curious if you can tell me the both teams who were involved, and if you'd like bonus points, you can also tell me the MVP of that game.
A 41?
41.
Colts Bears 29-17. Peyton Manning.
Woo! I probably could have told you Peyton Manning. I probably could have. I mean, I obviously could have told you Colts Bears, but I don't think I would have been able to remember the score off the top of my head. So incredibly impressive
Yeah.
so far. Um, so the most. Let's see here. So the most recent, obviously Super Bowl 54, but I will go a year prior to that, which I thought was absolute hideous Super Bowl. But I will ask if you can tell me the teams. The score could be pretty easy if you want to throw that in there. But I'm more interested in who the MVP was of that Super Bowl. Super Bowl 43.
Oh, I'm still so mad about.
Or 53,
43?
excuse me, 53.
Okay. 53 was Julian Edelman. Just the worst Super Bowl I've ever laid eyes on.
It was so bad.
Patriots won 13-3 because the NFL decided to shove the Rams into a Super Bowl when we deserved Tom Brady versus Drew Brees.
We did.
I hate both those teams. We deserved that.
That was an ugly.
Julian Edelman was MVP for literally just catching 11 passes. Didn't even score a touchdown. So I do not observe that Super Bowl. It does not count.
Yeah, that was an ugly missed call. Rams Saints. Saints got robbed a couple times in the last few years. Those poor guys.
Look,
but
I hate the Saints. I hate them.
Oh yeah.
I think you should know why I hate the Saints.
Everybody, yeah.
But even I was appalled at what happened that day.
So speaking of appalled, the next Super Bowl I'm going to ask you about is Super Bowl 40. Now, Super Bowl 40 was, in my opinion, was the Super Bowl that I was robbed of. And you can remember why. So tell me who played in Super Bowl 40 and who the MVP was.
The MVP was Hines Ward. The Steelers beat the Seahawks 21-10. The first Super Bowl I ever watched was that one, actually, because I was only 9, I think.
Yeah, that was.
But that was the year that I really, really started getting into football, and the first time my heart was ever broken.
Yeah,
like truly broken.
Gosh, that was.
Colts.
And for those of you who don't remember or have just repressed the memory, that was the year prior to the Colts winning the Super Bowl. Jerome Bettis on the goal line fumbled it. Nick Harper picked up the fumble, ran it back. I can hear it in my head. Nick run to the outside. He didn't. He tried to juke out Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger tackled him. We got in a field goal range to potentially tie it, go to OT. Mike Vanderjagt, one of the most accurate kickers in the NFL at that time, absolutely shanked it. Steelers walked off the field. Should not have. Jerome Bettis breathed a sigh of relief. Peyton Manning probably went to St. Elmo's after that and drowned himself in a 30-year-old scotch. So obviously, yes, you are correct. We'll add another one to the pile. I'm impressed, but now those memories are back, and I don't know how to process
Now
it.
I'm just sad.
Now I'm just sad. Okay, 34. Super Bowl
Hmm.
34. MVP of Super Bowl 34.
Super Bowl 34 would be Kurt Warner.
And a boy.
Good stuff.
Okay. Let's see here. Why don't you go ahead and tell me the teams as well?
Okay. Rams Titans 23-16. Really good Super Bowl. Just a lot of meat in there, and came down to the last play.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorites actually, in the midst of all this COVID stuff, I think I was at NFL Network or ESPN or one of the two, probably NFL Network, was re-showing a bunch of old Super Bowls. Um, and one of the favorites that I've watched, and I dislike both teams, but a friend of mine is a huge fan of one of the teams that played in this Super Bowl. And let me see exactly which one this bad boy was. Super Bowl 43. Um, this was a fun one to watch. This involved a big man getting a pretty big uh, interception, pick six, right before halftime that potentially springboarded this team back into the
Yep.
game. Tell me who the teams were and the score if you're able.
So that was the Cardinals losing to the Steelers. They lost 27-23 as Santonio Holmes caught in or hauled in a pass with, in my opinion, only 1 foot down.
It
I still don't think he got the other toe down, but like I told you, I hate the Steelers, so that is
I share.
biased.
I share in your opinion. I don't think that both feet were down. As I was actually having the discussion with the friend of mine who was a Steelers fan, and he would honestly tell you the same thing. I think
Are you
he knew
serious?
as well. So,
Unbelievable.
but regardless, a great Super Bowl that just did not bode well for the
Absolutely
Cardinals.
incredible Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the better
Just a
ones.
back and forth.
Oh man, memories are coming back.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So there was obviously a couple other interesting Super Bowls. A lot of people know of the one team that seems to have been the kryptonite to the Bill Belichick and Tom Brady led teams, and we're going to go over a couple of those right now. So the first of which I'm going to ask you about is Super Bowl 46.
Mm.
Um, Now that I will just say took place in the Lucas Oil Stadium, Indianapolis, and our honor was saved by the team that won, and then if I'm not mistaken, um, the MVP as well. So you just tell me who played, who the MVP was.
That was the Giants over the Patriots, and Eli Manning was the MVP for the second time. That was a very bizarre game, but pretty classic as well.
Um, yeah, I feel like giant Patriots Super Bowls have always really been um, just super good games. First of all, they've always
Yeah.
really delivered in terms of the quality of the game. I'll ask you now about Super Bowl 42 um, and who was involved in that one.
Yep. Giants Patriots. Eli Manning was the MVP, and they won 17-14. And that was
Now,
a game that really. You go ahead.
no, I was gonna ask, do you which one? Because I know one of them was which one was it? Was it David Tyree with the helmet catch?
Yeah, that was 42, and that was the one that took place in or Glendale.
Oh man,
Um, and that one was, even though the fourth quarter was really all you need to watch. The first 3 quarters, just nothing happened almost.
yeah, it was kind of started off like the Patriots Rams one did, but obviously some excitement towards the end there.
Yeah.
Just absolutely incredible game, obviously because Tom Brady lost. But um, this next one is a really interesting one for me. It was supposed to be one of the top offenses in the NFL versus one of the top defenses, a fairly recent one. That is Super Bowl, oh boy, 48.
I knew
Um,
you were going to say that.
oh boy, and that was that was an obliteration. First, let me just preface this. But can you remember the teams, the score,
Yeah.
and if you're able to provide me the MVP as well, I will give you 2 points for this one. But all I really need is the score.
Is tough for me because Okay, the score is 43-8, Seahawks over the Broncos, and it was a linebacker for the Seahawks that got the MVP. I always forget his name.
Um,
So he didn't play there. He doesn't play there anymore. He kind of became a nobody after that.
he
But
did
if you
have an
give me,
interception for touchdown, a fumble recovery, and
yeah,
10 tackles.
he had a nice game, and I will remember his name probably as soon as we stop this show. But don't tell me. Let's see if I can come up with it a little bit later.
Okay. Well, so you got the point at the very least. We currently, let's see here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Almost halfway there. And you're doing great.
Okay.
Um, all right. Let's see here. Super Bowl. Let's see.
What is that guy's name?
Super Bowl 37. Can you tell me the MVP of Super Bowl 37?
Yeah, Dexter Jackson.
Wow. And do you know, can you tell us just off the record, no points involved, why he was Super Bowl MVP, what he did?
So he had 2 interceptions in that game, if I'm remembering correctly, but I believe there was another player that had 2 interceptions, and I think one of them was for 6 points. But that's hazy for me. I know it was Dexter Jackson that had 2 interceptions.
They specified that both of his interceptions were first half. So if that helps you at all. So let's see here. It's always interesting to go through. Obviously, it seems like for the most part, it is like generally quarterback. The earlier you go, it starts off quarterback, and then for a while you don't see another quarterback. So I'm interested here. Super Bowl 10. Who the MVP was of that game?
Lynn Swann, and that was a pretty great performance too.
Okay, let me see here. Yeah, no, that was right. Sorry, I was just checking something on my phone, but you are correct. So I'm gonna see. I'm like doing this in a weird way, so I want to see if I can. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so you're actually at 16. I was completely wrong. So you're at 16. That was your 16th correct guess. So we're over halfway there now. You're doing absolutely wonderful. Just had that slip up in the beginning, but you came back. You came back. You got it. So we're going to get back on track here, and we're going to go all the way back to number 1.
Number 1.
Or number 2. I'll ask for MVP of number 1 and 2 if you can remember.
Bart Starr.
For both? Was it Bart Starr? Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure. But yes, you're absolutely right. It was Bart Starr for both. Man, there are so many good ones on here. I want to find one of the more dominant. One of the more dominant performances, I think, at least in my opinion, potentially 31. 31 was an interesting one. This player had 244 all-purpose yards and a 99-yard kick return for a touchdown.
Desmond Howard.
Absolutely, and they have him listed on here as a kick returner. So that is how he is.
All he did.
It's how he is immortalized on here. And if I'm not mistaken, the only Super Bowl MVP to ever be named MVP as a kick returner. Man.
Well, not to get off on a rabbit trail, I was, talking to my father-in-law, my wife's dad, about that game. He's a big Packers fan. And I was like, why was he MVP? Like, why would you give a kick returner MVP? He obviously watched that game. He said that Desmond Howard won because they were getting incredible field position every drive over and over again. So I was like, you know what? Can't argue with that at all. That's fair.
I like that. It's always nice to be able to get the perspective of someone who really watched that firsthand. Obviously, before I was even thought of. So an excellent one there. But let me see, or maybe not 31. That was, I don't know. No, that was definitely back there. Okay, so we're moving on here. You're currently sitting at 19 with your couple bonus points mixed in there just for an absolutely dominant performance so far. I have no doubt you're going to be the MVP of this performance here. So with only 11 left, we're going to move on here. Another incredibly dominant performance was Super Bowl 29.
Mm. Yep. Do you want the MVP? What's the question?
You can give me both if you want to. You're just on a roll at this point. I'm just
Okay,
letting you do your
so
thing.
incredible game from Steve Young. He threw 6 touchdown passes um, in a 49-26 rout over the San Diego Chargers, who frankly probably didn't even deserve to be there.
You know what? You're probably going to piss off some Chargers fans, but I agree with you. That's a good one there.
They know that.
Yeah, we're no fans of the Chargers around here. We just have their previous quarterback. So
We just have their quarterback.
right, that's all. And he has definitely, God, he's grilled us a few times in the playoffs. Never, obviously, I don't think has Rivers ever been to a Super Bowl?
No.
Oh, well,
The closest he came, I think, was the 2007 AFC Championship, and that the one where the Patriots were 16-0, 17-0 at that point, and I believe the score of that game was 21-9. If you want to fact check me.
which one was that? You said the Patriots Chargers.
Yeah, that should be the 2007. Well, it would be 2008 the year, but 2007 season.
Let's see.
I've never fact checked this, so this would just be purely me remembering being annoyed at the game that the Patriots had won.
What did you say the score was?
21-9.
Ooh, you were close. 21-12. And both quarterbacks really had ugly games. Phillip Rivers threw 2 picks. Tom Brady threw 2 picks. Ugh, that was a hideous game. Probably won on the leg of. Yeah, it was. Yeah, the Chargers were just rolling with field goals that whole game. Rivers didn't do anything. Does not give me hope, but then again,
Well, that
he's
was
also
a long time ago.
he's one of the better quarterbacks to ever play the game. So you got to be at least somewhat happy we got him. But off topic here, we'll move on to. All right. Well, let's see. 44. Who was involved in that game, Luke?
Why'd you do me like that? Saints, Colts, 31-17, Drew Brees.
Yeah, that man, that one hurts.
This is a sad podcast. You're doing a lot of...
I remember that so vividly. I was so angry. I was beyond mad. Was it Tracy Porter?
Tracy Porter.
Yeah, God, Tracy Porter. And then that onside half kickoff. Damn you, Sean Payton, you crafty man.
No. Hank Basket.
Hank Basket.
Never forget his name.
Hank Basket.
He had it in his hands. Oh, I'll never stop being mad about that.
That's one of those ones that just sticks.
I got somebody coming over in a second. I just want to make sure he's not already here.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, cool. I just heard my phone going off, so I wanted to make sure.
You're good, buddy.
Thanks, man. Okay, we're good.
All right, so we'll go ahead and get this wrapped up here shortly. We'll move on here to Super Bowl 11. What were the teams involved in Super Bowl 11?
Ooh. Yeah, that's a fun one. That was the Raiders over the Vikings. It was 32-14, which is a really weird score. And I can't remember the guy that had the pick six in that game. He wasn't beating it. Willie Brown. He died pretty recently, so that's why I bring him up. He passed away sometime last year, but had a nice pick six in that game.
Were you naming him as the MVP of that game?
No, he was an MVP. He was just a guy. Just a guy that had a nice game.
Okay.
Throw a shout out to a fellow December baby.
Well, a tasteful shout out there. I like that. But yes, you are correct. Indeed. Let me see here. Let's take a look. See at the next question here. We're gonna go Super Bowl 15.
Mm. Super Bowl 15 was again. Wait, did we already talk about Super Bowl 15?
Did we? We might have talked about 15 as an MVP. I don't know. Did you give me the score of that one?
I think I did. I think that was the second question.
All right, 16.
16. Oh, good. Okay. So that would be the 49ers over the Bengals 26-21, and that one was played in Michigan, Pontiac Stadium, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm giving you 2
Pontiac
points for
something.
that.
Nice.
I love the clutch location there. 2 points for that puts you at 24. You are four away from your 28 out of 30. You haven't missed any yet, so we are doing excellent. People should have high hopes for how this is going to end. So we'll go ahead and blast off these last couple here. I've got Super Bowl 27.
Super Bowl 27.
The
Ugh.
teams involved in the
Okay.
score.
So that was the first of the two Cowboys-Bills Super Bowls, and this one was the 52-17 game with the I forget his name, but the guy that picked up the fumble, the Leon Lett fumble, right on the goal line. Of course, it didn't matter, but that was the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, man, Buffalo really did not have a good time those 4 years. So then, for the sake of things, why don't we just go to 28 now, and you can tell me the score of that one.
30-13.
Man, this guy has it figured out. Let me tell you, I can't even imagine this level of dedication. How many times you had to watch that DVD to build the foundation for what has become such a structure of just knowledge at this point. I love it. Man, I'm getting giddy over here because I'm like I love these unique skills people have, and just the ability to recall things like this. I mean, you got to think about it a little bit, but for the most part, you got it. So let's see here, Super Bowl. Let's see, Super Bowl 18. Who played in that?
Okay, so let me walk through it here because these Super Bowls are always bizarre. Like 17, 18, 19, they're strange ones. But I believe if 17 was the Redskins beating the Dolphins, then 18 would have been the Redskins losing to the Raiders.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm. And then Marcus Allen would have been the MVP in that one.
Okay, well, shoot, man. All right, so you are at 28. You're at 28. The giveaway is happening. For the sake of things, we can end this right now. If you can tell me who the linebacker was for Seattle that was named MVP.
I have been thinking about it 100% of the time since you asked it. I cannot remember his name. It is just not coming to me. It's so frustrating.
There was a really funny. He was on a Mean Tweets, I think, for the Jimmy Kimmel show, and somebody asked him "Who are you?" And he's like, "I was the MVP of the Super Bowl." Oh man.
Yeah, I never actually. I don't watch Mean Tweets, or I never have, that is, but it's killing me that I can't remember his name. I should know this.
I love Mean Tweets, man. That's like one of my favorites. So we'll throw a bit of an easy one at you now, since obviously you've already gotten your 28. Super Bowl 54.
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Yeah. What do you want? What do you need?
Shoot, you can give me MVP and score if you want to. You've already won.
31-20, Chiefs, Niners, Patrick Mahomes. Should have been Damian Williams. I put $10 on it beforehand, and then he showed up. He showed up in that game. I would have won $300 and named Patrick Mahomes MVP. Pretty mad.
You have to. It's Patrick Mahomes. That man they just backed up the Brinks truck to that man.
See, I get it because they probably wouldn't have won without him, and so honestly, they probably gave it to the guy who deserved it the most. But they usually give it to the guy with the best stat line. You know what I mean? So
absolutely. So to round things out here, no pressure on this one. This was probably a Super Bowl that the Colts were in no way, shape, or form involved in, but still had just an absolute, I mean, negative emotional effect on me in terms of how it ended versus how it started, which was completely the opposite. But it ended poorly. I You may already know what I'm talking about here. I'm sure if you are not 100%, you will in a moment. That is Super Bowl. Oh boy, Super Bowl 51.
Oh, I
The
knew you were going to do this.
dreaded Super Bowl, the 28-3 Super Bowl. Not the final score, but anyone who knows those numbers, knows football, knows what that means. So
Everybody
you may
knows.
give me the teams, the final score, the MVP, however you'd like to wrap this up.
MVP, Tom Brady.
Ugh.
34-28, New England Patriots over the Atlanta Falcons
One
in a
in
game where
overtime.
uh,
Ugly.
and I honestly can say I'd been looking. It was the only Super Bowl to ever go into overtime, and I'd been looking forward to the Super Bowl that finally went into overtime, and it happened in the worst possible way. So
Oh,
I'm just mad at the universe.
yeah, it was gross too because Tom Brady had to throw the ball 62 times in that game. Um,
62 times.
62 times and only had 400. So we had 43 completions to 62 attempts, 466 yards, and just two touchdowns. But it was a game that Falcons fans will forever remember negatively, and Patriots fans will absolutely never let anybody live down ever. Because it was the game that Vinatieri didn't have to win for Tom Brady, and it was the game that the Falcons should have just kept running the ball. Oh, anyway, before I get on a
Just run
tangent
the
about
ball.
that, you were 30
Yeah,
for 30,
you're right.
probably even more, because you had so many bonuses mixed in there, man. That is an absolute incredible talent. You may take your blindfold off now. It might be a little bright, so watch yourself.
Ugh. I'll tell you,
But
I'm not happy with my performance. The misstep right off the bat, and then I still can't remember that linebacker's name for the Seahawks. Go ahead and give it to me, because I'm not going to remember it.
Malcolm Smith.
Ugh.
Malcolm Smith, who you're right, really, other than that, wasn't really much of anyone. He just kind of like how
He,
oh who was the corner? Malcolm Butler. Um,
yeah,
just kind of fell off, to have that one good
remember it
game
now.
and
I'll remember it now
yeah,
that
well
you've made
that's
a
the thing.
little, you tied it together for me.
A lot of it is association. So you're gonna be like 10 years from now, someone's gonna ask you that, be like, I was on a show once and I couldn't remember that Malcolm Smith. So, oh man, that's impressive though. So we did it. If you do tune into this episode, do me a favor. You do have the opportunity to be entered into this drawing. What you have to do is make sure you're following us on Twitter at the Colts Brew. Go to our website. It's going to prompt you to sign up for our newsletter. You don't have to sign up for the newsletter, but just show us that you went to the website and listened to the show. And then if you want an extra drawing in the competition, everyone will get one. If you want an extra drawing, you can go in and leave us a review on iTunes, letting us know how you like the show. Obviously, 5 stars are what we strive for. So if you would leave a review, we'll get you one entry, and then obviously following and making sure that you've been on the website is the second entry. So go ahead and do that. You can find this podcast as well as all of our others on our website at brewsportsmedia.com. You can also find us on iTunes, Spotify, if that's more convenient for you. But Luke, it was an absolute pleasure having you on today and just getting to showcase this talent of yours. I do look forward to doing this again in the
Yeah.
future, and just kind of letting the people know that we've got some talent here.
Well, before we're done, I was going to ask you, since we're talking Super Bowls, let's make some Super Bowl picks for Super Bowl 55. What do you think?
So let me tell you, I actually had a conversation with Phil Wilson, I believe his name was, with Sports Illustrated. He kind of asked me,
Yeah.
at least specifically, what my thoughts were on how the Colts fared this year. And I got to tell you, like, I'm
Okay.
obviously getting jacked for the season. I mean, this defense has potential to be top five, which has kind of been a thing that we've struggled with. We've always been good against the run, but now we can generate some pressure. We've got some good young people in the secondary, and I got to be honest with you, man. I think that it's not incredibly bold to say the Colts have a shot. Um, but as long as you have teams like Kansas City and Baltimore bopping around out there, it's going to be tough. I would say in terms of the NFC, it's hard to not look at the Patriot or excuse me, not the Patriots, the Buccaneers. I mean, Tom Brady is
Yeah.
efficient.
Okay.
He's not always going to put up the best numbers, but he's efficient. They just added Leonard Fournette to the backfield. They've got Godwin. They've got Evans. They've got Gronk. They've got obviously like Brady back there. Like that's just an incredible team, an incredibly young defense. And I'm telling you, man, like it would not surprise me to see Tampa go back. You never want to count out the Saints as a team that just loves to get involved in the playoffs. Um, but man, I don't know if we're talking like way too early Super Bowl picks, man. I don't know. I'm thinking Tom Brady has his maybe not his last hurrah as I wish it would be. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Tampa go in there. And man, it's hard to discount the Chiefs from anything. So maybe we see youth versus the new versus the old, and we see the Buccaneers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, I would hope the Chiefs would win that one. But what about you, man? Like, what's your mindset about this year?
Every year I think the Colts are going to go 19-0. Haven't been right about that one yet. So
One of these days.
it's hard because I want what's going to happen one day. It's hard for me to say that. Like, do I expect the Colts to make the Super Bowl? Absolutely, because I'm ever the optimist. But I'll leave them out of it for right now. My official prediction will be. I hate to go with the expected in the AFC, but I'm going to give it to the Chiefs again. I think they address some needs. They're not the most complete team in the world, and I think that's where their downfall could be. But I'm not looking at the Ravens to take that top spot this year. So I think I'm going to say Chiefs go back, and I am going to say not only do I say the Buccaneers miss the playoffs.
Oh wow!
Bold prediction, write it down. But I'm going to say dark horse, Minnesota Vikings.
Wow. So they lose Stephon Diggs, and you think that it's their year, huh?
Stephon Diggs was probably part of the reason they weren't making it. Because, I understand wanting the ball, but come on, Stephon, be a team guy, be a team player.
Yeah, absolutely. And that backfield is so good.
They addressed his vacancy. The backfield is great. The freaking defensive line is gonna eat this year.
Yeah,
so
man, it's
look out for the Vikings. That's all I'm saying.
But I guess one more thing to address. Do you think the Colts are a shoo-in to win the division, or do the Tennessee Titans have a chance, especially now with the addition of Jadeveon Clowney?
Okay, so I do believe it's a two-horse race for the AFC South. The Texans they clearly don't want to win football games. The Jaguars don't even remotely want to win. I think the Colts are the favorite. They should be the favorite because I truly don't think that Tannehill is quite who we think maybe he is. I think we were right the first time about Tannehill, but we'll see. I think the Colts will win in a cool 11 years and get a division title out of it. So
yeah, well, and obviously at some point we are going to do a 53 man roster evaluation, and we'll do a record prediction game by game, which is always a fun episode to do. But yeah, man, I think I saw somewhere too, just a fun little tidbit, that the Jacksonville Jaguars have 16 rookies on their 53 man roster, which is just unheard of.
Well, look, I'll say this before I get out of here. The Jacksonville Jaguars are so bad that I'm considering driving to Jacksonville for Week 1 to watch that football game. Because I think it's going to be a massacre.
I'm with you, man.
And I'm excited.
I'm with you, man.
They are allowing fans, so I'm thinking about doing it.
Well, and they're not if they're not bad price tickets. I was looking at some, and I think right now you can get them as low as $50 for some areas. But For me, it was kind of going back and forth. Obviously, not being in Indiana, I'm out of market, so it's like, do I want to maybe get Sunday ticket or do I want to go see the game this year? So who knows, man? Who knows? That'll be a good game for sure. Hopefully, give us a chance to get started off on the right foot for the first time in what seems like forever. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, no,
absolutely,
for real.
man. It was fun to get you on here and kind of show this off a little bit, man. I appreciate it.
It was fun. I appreciate that you want to do a shot of it. I like to show off my skill, my one skill. So
Well, we hope you guys all enjoyed this episode. We'll see you next time. We got a 53-man roster eval coming up, as well as the season prediction. We'll have as many people as we can on to share their thoughts. But thank you so much for tuning in. You know it's appreciated, and we'll see you next time.